What if the reading glasses you reach for dozens of times a day, then take off again the moment you look up from your phone or your book, are actually meant to stay on considerably longer than most people assume, and the common worry about wearing them too much is based on a misunderstanding of how your eyes actually work? Many people who develop the need for reading glasses, typically sometime in their 40s or 50s, adopt a very specific habit almost immediately, putting the glasses on only for the exact task requiring close focus, then removing them the instant that task ends, often dozens of times throughout a single day. Behind this habit sits a genuine, widely held belief that wearing reading glasses too much will somehow weaken your eyes further or create a dependency that wouldn't otherwise develop. So today we're going to walk through exactly what happens inside your eyes when you wear reading glasses all day, whether that widespread concern about dependency and weakening actually holds up to what eye care research genuinely shows, and how to think about your own reading glasses habit based on real information rather than a commonly repeated assumption. Before we begin, remember this video is for education only. If you're experiencing sudden vision changes, eye pain, or significant difficulty with your current prescription, please speak with your eye doctor, since these deserve direct evaluation rather than general guidance alone. Now, let's begin. Most people ask, will wearing my reading glasses all day make my eyes worse? And this question deserves a direct, honest answer right at the start, since it's genuinely one of the most common concerns people have about this exact habit. The short answer, based on what optometry and ophthalmology research actually shows, is no. Wearing reading glasses consistently throughout the day does not weaken your eyes, does not accelerate the underlying condition requiring them, and does not create a dependency in the way many people assume. The better question, then, is, if wearing them more doesn't cause harm, what actually does happen when I wear reading glasses all day, and does that information change how I should be using them? Because understanding the real mechanism behind why you need reading glasses in the first place clarifies why this common worry, however widespread, doesn't actually reflect how your eyes function. Here is the genuine, underlying reason most people need reading glasses starting sometime in their 40s or 50s, a condition called presbyopia. Presbyopia occurs because the lens inside your eye, along with the small muscles responsible for changing that lens's shape to focus on nearby objects, gradually loses flexibility with age, a natural, essentially universal process that affects nearly everyone eventually, regardless of whether you previously had perfect vision or already wore glasses for other reasons. This gradual loss of lens flexibility is a structural, physical change within the eye itself, progressing at its own pace based on your individual biology and aging process, entirely independent of how much or how little you wear reading glasses once the condition begins. Think of presbyopia like the gradual stiffening that happens to a rubber band left in a drawer for years, becoming somewhat less flexible and elastic over time regardless of whether you occasionally stretch it or leave it completely untouched. The rubber band's stiffening happens because of its own aging material properties, not because of how frequently you happen to use it during that time. Similarly, the lens inside your eye stiffens gradually due to its own age-related structural changes, a process that continues at essentially the same underlying pace whether you wear reading glasses constantly, occasionally, or not at all, meaning your glasses usage simply isn't the variable determining how quickly this natural process unfolds. Let's start with the first thing that actually happens when you wear reading glasses consistently throughout the day, and it involves how they function optically rather than biologically. Reading glasses work by adding additional focusing power to compensate for your lens's reduced ability to focus on nearby objects, essentially doing part of the focusing work your natural lens can no longer fully accomplish on its own. When you wear reading glasses consistently, you're simply using this compensating tool whenever you need clear near vision, similar to how you might use a cane consistently if you had a mobility issue, without any concern that consistent cane use would somehow worsen the underlying condition requiring it. The glasses don't interact with or influence your eye's actual physical structure in any way that would accelerate the presbyopia progressing beneath the surface. The second thing that happens involves eye strain and comfort specifically, an area where wearing reading glasses consistently, when genuinely needed for the task at hand, generally provides more comfort rather than less. If you need reading glasses for close work and you're not wearing them, your eyes and the surrounding muscles work considerably harder to attempt focusing on nearby objects despite your lens's reduced natural flexibility, often producing genuine eye strain, headaches, or fatigue with prolonged close work performed without appropriate correction. Wearing your reading glasses consistently for tasks that genuinely require them typically reduces the strain rather than creating any new problem, meaning the common worry about wearing them too much often has the actual relationship backward, since underwearing them for tasks that require correction is more likely to produce discomfort than consistent, appropriate use. The third thing that happens involves the specific tasks and distances where reading glasses are actually needed versus where they're not, a distinction worth understanding clearly since wearing reading glasses for tasks they weren't designed for can create its own genuine, if different, form of visual confusion. Reading glasses are specifically calibrated for a particular near-focus distance, typically the distance at which you'd hold a book or phone, meaning wearing them while looking at anything farther away, such as across a room or while driving, will actually blur your distance vision, since the added focusing power designed for near objects works against clear focus at greater distances. This is why many people specifically remove their reading glasses when looking up or moving around, not because of any concern about eye weakening, but simply because the glasses genuinely aren't optically suited for anything beyond the specific near-distance range they're designed to correct. The fourth thing that happens involves an important, related consideration for anyone who needs to alternate frequently between near and distance tasks throughout their day, a genuinely practical challenge distinct from the weakening myth already addressed. If you find yourself needing to remove and replace your reading glasses dozens of times throughout the day, transitioning repeatedly between near tasks and everything else, this practical inconvenience, rather than any genuine concern about eye health, is actually the more legitimate reason some people explore alternatives like progressive or multifocal lenses, which provide appropriate correction across multiple distances within a single pair of glasses, eliminating the need for constant removal and replacement throughout the day. The fifth thing that happens involves how presbyopia itself naturally progresses over subsequent years, regardless of your reading glasses habits, since this condition typically continues advancing gradually through your 50s and into your 60s before generally stabilizing. This means most people find they need periodically updated, stronger reading glasses prescriptions every few years as their natural lens flexibility continues its gradual decline, a progression that happens due to this underlying biological aging process itself, not because of how consistently or inconsistently you've been wearing your current glasses. Understanding this natural progression helps clarify why an updated, stronger prescription becomes necessary over time, a change people sometimes mistakenly attribute to wearing their previous glasses too much, when it actually simply reflects the ongoing, independent progression of presbyopia itself. Now let's talk about the sixth thing worth understanding, and this involves a genuinely different, distinct concern some people conflate with the reading glasses dependency myth, digital eye strain from extended screen use specifically. Extended near-focus work, particularly involving screens, can genuinely produce eye strain, dryness, and fatigue, not because of your reading glasses themselves, but due to factors like reduced blinking frequency during screen use, screen glare, and simply the sustained, prolonged nature of close focus work over extended periods. This is a genuinely real phenomenon worth addressing through practices like the 20-20-20 rule, looking at something roughly 20 feet away for 20 seconds every 20 minutes, but it's worth clarifying that this concern relates to sustained near-focus work and screen habits generally, rather than being caused or worsened by wearing appropriately prescribed reading glasses during that same work. Now let's talk about the seventh and final consideration, and this involves the genuine importance of using an accurately prescribed strength specifically, since this, rather than frequency of wear, represents the actual factor that matters for your comfort and visual clarity. Wearing reading glasses with a prescription that's meaningfully too weak or too strong for your current, individual level of presbyopia can genuinely produce discomfort, eye strain, or headaches, not because of how often you wear them, but because the specific optical correction doesn't accurately match what your eyes currently need. This is precisely why regular eye exams, allowing your eye doctor to update your prescription as your presbyopia naturally progresses over time, matter considerably more for your comfort and eye health than any concern about wearing your current, accurately prescribed glasses too frequently throughout your day. Now, before we go further, let's debunk a few common myths about reading glasses specifically. For years, many people believed that wearing reading glasses too much would weaken their eyes further or accelerate their underlying vision changes, a belief that, as discussed throughout today's video, doesn't accurately reflect how presbyopia actually progresses, since this process unfolds based on your own individual aging biology rather than your glasses' usage habits. Some believe that using over-the-counter, non-prescription reading glasses, purchased from a pharmacy or general store, is functionally identical to a properly prescribed pair from an eye doctor, without recognizing that these generic options don't account for astigmatism or differences between your two eyes, potentially producing less comfortable, less optimal correction compared to a properly individualized prescription. Some believe that once you start wearing reading glasses, you become permanently and increasingly reliant on them in a way you wouldn't have been otherwise, when in reality, the underlying presbyopia would continue progressing at essentially the same rate whether or not you ever wore glasses to address it. And some believe that any eye strain or discomfort experienced with reading glasses must indicate you're wearing them incorrectly or too often, when in reality, this discomfort more commonly reflects either an outdated prescription that no longer matches your current level of presbyopia, or unrelated factors like screen habits and blinking frequency discussed earlier. But when we look at the actual eye physiology and research involved, the picture becomes considerably clearer and less anxiety-inducing than the common, widely repeated worry about wearing reading glasses too much throughout the day. The real questions are not simply, am I wearing these often, or will frequent use somehow make things worse? The better questions are, do I have an accurately updated prescription that matches my current level of presbyopia? Am I using my reading glasses specifically for the near-focus tasks they're designed for, rather than distance tasks where they'd actually blur my vision? And if I'm managing separate eye strain from extended screen use, am I addressing that through appropriate breaks in screen habits, rather than mistakenly attributing that strain to my reading glasses themselves? Now let's build a simple, practical framework for thinking about your own reading glasses use based on the actual information discussed today. First, feel free to wear your reading glasses as consistently as feels comfortable and useful for near-focus tasks throughout your day, without any concern that frequent use will worsen your underlying vision or create unnecessary dependency, since neither concern reflects how presbyopia actually progresses. Second, remove your reading glasses specifically for distance tasks, such as driving or walking across a room, since they're optically designed for near focus and will genuinely blur your distance vision if worn for tasks beyond their intended range. Third, if you find yourself frequently annoyed by the need to remove and replace your glasses throughout the day due to alternating near and distance tasks, discuss progressive or multifocal lens options with your eye doctor, which can address this genuine, practical inconvenience without requiring constant switching between separate pairs of glasses. Fourth, schedule regular eye exams, generally every 1 to 2 years for most adults over 50, allowing your prescription to be updated as your presbyopia naturally progresses over time, since an outdated prescription, rather than frequency of wear, is what genuinely tends to produce discomfort or strain. Fifth, if you're experiencing eye strain specifically related to extended screen use, address this through practices like the 20-20-20 rule and conscious attention to blinking frequency, rather than assuming this strain reflects a problem with your reading glasses themselves. Let's talk a bit more about progressive and multifocal lenses specifically, since this represents a genuinely relevant option for many adults managing the practical inconvenience of frequent glasses removal and replacement throughout their day. These lenses incorporate multiple focusing powers within a single lens, generally providing appropriate correction for distance vision through the upper portion of the lens and near vision through the lower portion, with a gradual transition between these zones, allowing you to maintain clear vision across multiple distances without needing to switch between separate glasses for different tasks. Some people find an initial adjustment period necessary when first switching to this style of lens, since the gradual transition zones require a bit of practice to use intuitively, particularly regarding head positioning and where within the lens you're looking for a given task, but many people find this adjustment period worthwhile compared to the ongoing inconvenience of constantly switching between separate reading and distance glasses throughout their day. It's also worth discussing the specific difference between over-the-counter reading glasses and a properly prescribed pair from an eye doctor, since this distinction genuinely matters for both comfort and, in some cases, for catching other relevant eye health concerns. Over-the-counter reading glasses provide a single, generic magnification strength applied equally to both eyes, which works reasonably well for many people whose presbyopia happens to be relatively similar between both eyes and who don't have significant astigmatism requiring more specific correction. However, a proper eye exam and individually prescribed pair accounts for any differences between your two eyes, any astigmatism present, and provides an opportunity for your eye doctor to check for other age-related eye conditions during the same visit, including cataracts, glaucoma, and macular degeneration, conditions that become increasingly relevant to monitor after 50 and that a simple over-the-counter glasses purchase wouldn't provide any opportunity to screen for. Let's talk briefly about blue light filtering lenses specifically, since these are frequently marketed alongside or as an add-on to reading glasses, often with claims about protecting your eyes from screen-related damage. The current body of eye research on blue light filtering lenses is genuinely more limited and less conclusive than marketing claims sometimes suggest, with several studies finding minimal or inconsistent evidence that these specific filters meaningfully reduce digital eye strain compared to standard lenses. This doesn't mean blue light lenses are harmful or that there's no reason to consider them, but it does mean the more established, evidence-supported approach to managing digital eye strain remains the behavioral practices already discussed, the 20-20-20 rule and conscious attention to blinking frequency, rather than assuming a blue light filter alone will resolve strain from extended screen use, regardless of whether you choose to add this feature to your reading glasses. It's also worth briefly addressing computer-specific glasses, sometimes recommended as a distinct option from standard reading glasses, particularly for anyone who spends considerable time working at a computer screen positioned at an intermediate distance, somewhat farther than typical reading material but closer than full-distance vision. Standard reading glasses are calibrated for a specific near reading distance, and using them for a computer screen positioned farther away can sometimes require you to lean forward uncomfortably to bring the screen within your reading glasses' effective focal range, potentially contributing to neck and shoulder strain over an extended work session. Computer-specific glasses, calibrated for this particular intermediate distance, can address this specific mismatch for anyone who spends significant portions of their day at a computer, representing another genuinely practical, distance-specific consideration worth discussing with your eye doctor if you've noticed this particular discomfort pattern with your standard reading glasses. Without any significant discomfort, and are wondering whether switching to a properly prescribed pair is genuinely necessary? If your current over-the-counter glasses are providing comfortable, clear vision without eye strain or headaches, there's no urgent need to switch purely based on general principle. However, given the additional eye health screening opportunity that a comprehensive eye exam provides, discussed above, scheduling this exam periodically, even if you ultimately continue using over-the-counter reading glasses afterward, offers genuine value beyond simply the reading glasses prescription itself, allowing your eye doctor to monitor for other age-related eye conditions that wouldn't otherwise be caught without this specific type of comprehensive examination. And what about people who notice their reading glasses no longer feel adequate, requiring them to hold reading material farther away or squint more than they used to, even with their current prescription? This pattern typically reflects the natural progression of presbyopia discussed throughout today's video, meaning it's genuinely time for an updated, stronger prescription, rather than any indication that you've somehow worn your previous glasses incorrectly or too frequently. Scheduling an updated eye exam when you notice this pattern, rather than continuing to use an increasingly inadequate prescription, will generally restore the comfortable, clear vision you're used to, addressing the actual underlying cause, your naturally progressing presbyopia, rather than any concern related to your glasses-wearing habits themselves. Let's also briefly address a related, sometimes conflated concern, whether wearing reading glasses affects your eye's ability to eventually adapt to potential future interventions, such as cataract surgery, which becomes increasingly common after 50 and often addresses both cataracts and presbyopia simultaneously through specialized lens implants. Your reading glasses usage habits throughout the years leading up to any potential future cataract surgery have no meaningful bearing on that surgery's approach or outcome, since cataract development and presbyopia progression both proceed based on their own independent, age-related biological processes, entirely separate from how you've been managing your near vision with glasses in the meantime. Let's also mention children and reading glasses briefly, since this connects to a related, though distinct, myth some people have heard applied more broadly, that wearing glasses of any kind, at any age, somehow weakens the eyes and increases dependency over time. This concern, sometimes discussed in the context of children's glasses for nearsightedness, similarly doesn't hold up to what vision research actually shows, since glasses correct existing refractive conditions without causing or worsening the underlying issue, whether in a child's nearsightedness or an adult's presbyopia specifically discussed throughout today's video, representing the same broader misunderstanding applied across different specific eye conditions and age groups. Now let's summarize everything in a simple way. Wearing reading glasses all day does not weaken your eyes, does not accelerate the natural progression of presbyopia, and does not create a harmful dependency, since presbyopia progresses based on your own individual, age-related lens stiffening process, entirely independent of how frequently you wear glasses to compensate for it. Reading glasses work by adding focusing power specifically for near-distance tasks, meaning they should be removed for distance activities like driving, not due to any eye health concern, but simply because they're optically unsuited for anything beyond their intended near-focus range. Genuine discomfort with reading glasses typically stems from an outdated prescription that no longer matches your naturally progressing presbyopia, or from unrelated factors like extended screen use and reduced blinking frequency, rather than from wearing appropriately prescribed glasses too consistently throughout your day. Progressive or multifocal lenses offer a genuinely practical solution for anyone frustrated by frequently switching between separate glasses for near and distance tasks, and regular comprehensive eye exams provide valuable screening for other age-related eye conditions beyond simply updating your reading glasses prescription. But remember, the goal of today's discussion is simply to remove an unnecessary source of worry from a habit that, based on the actual research and physiology involved, doesn't carry the risk many people have long assumed. Wear your reading glasses as consistently as feels comfortable and useful for your near-focus tasks, without concern that this habit is somehow working against your eye health. So today, if you've been hesitant to wear your reading glasses as consistently as you genuinely find comfortable, due to this common concern about weakening or dependency, consider simply wearing them whenever you're engaged in near-focus tasks throughout your day, without that unnecessary hesitation, and if it's been more than a year or two since your last eye exam, consider scheduling one, both to ensure your current prescription still matches your needs and to take advantage of the broader eye health screening a comprehensive exam provides. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you held on to this common belief about wearing reading glasses too much, and does today's information change how you'll approach your own reading glasses use going forward? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story may help someone else watching this video let go of an unnecessary worry about a habit that's actually perfectly safe and often more comfortable than the alternative. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe to Nutri, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more simple, practical health strategies for adults over 50. And next, watch our video on what happens when you walk backwards every day, because separating genuine, evidence-based information from commonly repeated but inaccurate assumptions matters just as much for how you care for your eyes as it does for how you move your body.